everyone, welcome back to another stream on Fancy Football Scout. As usual, today I'm joined by Gianni Battici and we're going to look at my team for Game Week 26 and we'll have a look at how double Game Week 25 is going for myself. Gianni, how are we getting on?
I'm very well, mate. Happy birthday!
Thank you. I didn't think you'd out me straight off the off, but thank you so much. Today I turned 22 and as you can see, we're in a different location. We're in a hotel. I've been treated to a nice little spa getaway, so I unfortunately didn't get to catch the games today, but Gianni, that's why you're here to fill me in.
I love that. Yeah, mate, you shouldn't be on your birthday, especially, you know, I'm sure that wouldn't be appreciated. A gesture of let's go to a hotel and then watch football is never the most romantic. Good to see you though, man. It's lovely to chat, and I know you would have caught up on loads of the games from yesterday. Yesterday was the big one. We had 7 games yesterday, which you don't often get on a Saturday. But yeah, today, I mean, Spurs were good. United were bad. United were really bad. Casemiro and Bruno in the middle of the park together, like, oh, it was never going to be pretty. And then Liverpool, mate, first half of that Liverpool game was all Liverpool. Disallowed goal, pen for Salah, could have had another one. Second half, Liverpool clocked 0.00 XG. Like, on another day, Wolves, Cunha scored and got the bonus. On another day, Wolves find a late equaliser. Like, they had a good chance with about 3 minutes left. Kwanzaa cleared it brilliantly. But Wolves caused them problems, man. Like, slot assistant managers were getting a little bit twitchy.
Yeah, you know what? And especially after the Emery draw, we were very disappointed. I went Emery myself. And a lot of slot owners were very hopeful of a massive result, which, in fairness, they did beat us out in the first fixture. Again, we have the second one to come. We are against them. But it'll be interesting to see how that second one plays out with the table bonus. And, yeah, going back to Matheus Cunha, he's definitely one a lot of us will be looking at as he doesn't blank in Game Week 29, and he's some really good fixtures going forward, Gianni.
Yeah, he has. I was a bit worried on the new manager about Cunha because of his position, and he was really obviously good under Gary O'Neill. But it looks like we've got the Cunha of O'Neill back, like pulling the strings, the main man on everything. Scored, I think, in the FA Cup as well. I like Wolves. I couldn't believe the table. Looking at the table, like they're only what is it, a point above Ipswich, like just above the relegation zone. But surely Wolves have enough to stay up, and Cunha's amazing. So yeah, I hear you there, mate. You mentioned Emery. Your transfers last week, one of them was Emery. Let's just talk about what your transfers were, because I can't remember off the top of my head. But Emery himself, Aston Villa had 24, 25 shots. Ipswich had 3. Like I own Morgan Rogers, right? And Emery, and Rogers was the big. was on the Scout members area this morning, and they on the homepage of the members login. Many of you will know it. It has a chart of the XG underperformers of the game week, and the top XG underperformer of the game week so far, when I checked on Sunday morning, was Morgan Rogers. He had like 0.84 XG or something, and it's like, damn, if he just scores one of those efforts, that's Emery and Rogers points. So annoying, man. Like, Villa dominated.
Yeah, so before I catch on to your point, quick thank you to everyone in chat wishing me happy birthday. A lot of people making guesses where I am. Chess Econ says an Irish pub. He wouldn't be far off. But yeah, thank you everyone in chat. Maliki, Patrick, Daniel, Woodstock. I really appreciate it. And as usual, we're here for a Sunday stream on Fancy Football Scout. But yeah, what you said.
Mate? Where in the world are you, by the way? Where in Ireland are you?
So,
what's the name of the city?
Currently in Kildare. It's at a really nice hotel called The Heritage. Do check it out if you are staying in Ireland. I'll send you the link, Gianni, whenever you're about.
I've just Googled it. Wow, mate.
Perfect.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, no, it's really nice. But just to go on to your point before I forget, sorry.
Let's keep talking about the hotel.
The hotel's deadly, and you're more than welcome to come around. I'm
just
sure.
seeing where in the world it is, right? So it's between it's like what is it? About an hour from Dublin?
Yeah, give or take an hour. From where I am, it's about an hour and a half.
And you're Waterford, right? So it's sort of in between the two, but not quite. Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, I didn't even know where Waterford is. So for those that aren't familiar, Waterford, where Chai's from, is in between Dublin and Cork on like the coastal road.
Mm-hmm.
Love that, man.
So everywhere is a trek, but it's good that it's well worth and having an unreal day so far. So I'm sure everyone really cares about where I am. But anyway, Gianni, before I forget, I agree. I think we're actually fairly unfortunate with Aston Villa, if I'm being honest. I mean, I felt like I was hard done by, especially looking at the stats after the game, after watching it. They completely dominated. And you just
Oh,
felt
mate,
like,
the staircase. The staircase of the hotel. I'm
man,
sorry.
it's deadly. No, it's
I
so
purposely
cool.
cut you off because I thought it'd be funny. But
We
genuinely, the
came here
staircase.
early. Yeah, we came here early and walked in the front door and just a massive staircase. And we came here at 12 o'clock and check-in wasn't until 3. So it's like, what are we going to do for the next 3 hours?
Love that. Well, the good thing is the Wi-Fi is good.
Yeah, it's class, to be fair. I didn't expect, like, it's better than one at home. Like, usually it's cutting off at home, so happy days. And it's better than the IKEA car park that we done last time.
Mate, someone said in the chat, why is Chai late? He's not in a car again, is he?
He wasn't far off.
So go on, back to your point on Emery being unlucky, yeah, because I'm with you here.
Yeah, no, I don't feel like we're unlucky. It just wasn't the result we were looking for. I actually think it's exactly what we expected. I mean, Villa dominated the game. Of course, a red card for Ipswich and the lap doing the lap things every single week. And it's probably no surprise, but I feel like we went with Emery because of double fixture. A lot of people who thought outside the box, they went Silva. Again, I still think the decision to go Emery over Silva was probably right.
Mate, it might still outscore Silva. Like, I think
100%,
Emery's going to get
exactly.
something against Liverpool. I think he's going to get a draw, you know.
And I wouldn't have put the assistant manager on him if I didn't think that.
Yeah. Yeah, because I got asked this earlier, like, where do you go for Game Week 26, assistant manager, if you want to chase the bonus? And I'm like, yeah, okay. Like, Leicester, you could go Van Nistelrooy because Leicester can get bonus against Brentford, but I don't think that will happen, and I don't think that could happen in a month of Sundays. So I'm just not even going to go there. Like, don't get me wrong. If I was placing a bet on who wins the football match, Liverpool or Villa, and they were both the same odds, I would go Liverpool. But I think there is a chance Emery causes an upset. And with that, I'm always happy. Same with Moyes. I thought Moyes there was a chance. I was happy to back him. I'm not going to chase bonus for the sake of it and go Van Nistelrooy when I think there's a 0% chance in my head, I know it's not 0, that Leicester cause an upset against Brentford in 26. So I'm with you there. Like, people assume that if you've gone for the bonus that you're conceding defeat. Like, no, I think Emery can get something. I wouldn't have backed him if I didn't.
I completely agree with that. It's going to be interesting though, Gianni, with no table bonus for Emery going into next week against Chelsea. Again, you yourself are a Chelsea fan.
I assume using a transfer, man.
Yeah, I was just about to say, you're looking to use a transfer. Who are you looking to use it on?
No one for bonus, which is annoying. And there isn't many bonus opportunities. There's one bonus opportunity that I don't hate, and it's McKenna against Spurs. But Spurs have just won today. Like, I don't think I'll be there. Patrick in the chat says McKenna for me, Game Week 26 home against Spurs. That is the obvious one if you want to go for a bonus.
I was just about to say on that, Jenny. I'm on the complete opposite length of that, and I'm looking at Postecoglou. Yeah.
Nah, if I'm going to go safe, and I haven't got money to spend, I'm not going Arteta or Slot. I'm going to go Iraola. Although I like Wolves, but I'm going to go Iraola, but more likely Herzler. Herzler has an away fixture, but it's Southampton. Because remember, with this, it's not just about who wins the football match for your 6 points. You want goals and you want clean sheets, because it's +2 for a clean and +1 every goal. Now, Herzler clean sheet odds in my head are higher than Iraola's. And if I'm thinking who can get a 4-0 win and score 4, I probably fancy Brighton more than Bournemouth, given the fixture, given the opponent.
But man, you're literally saying it for me. Postecoglou, you're looking for goals. Away to Ipswich, don't get me wrong, but
I'm looking for clean sheets as well.
Okay, clean sheets, I can't give you them, but let's be real. Van de Ven and Romero are back soon, surely.
True, and to be fair, you had Vicario back today. So Vicario back in the mix now.
Changes things, man. It does change things.
Clean sheet straight away, like.
What else do you want? But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where people are going in Game Week 26. Those with Emery.
Yeah, let us know in the chat where you're going in 2026, guys. Give us some inspo. But I think we've covered most of them. Like, no one's going Van Nistelrooy, are they?
Yeah, no, I doubt it. And if you're going with Emery, if you have Emery, keep the faith in him for this Liverpool game. It's so annoying, Johnny, having triple Liverpool and not wanting Liverpool to win because of Slot. Such an awkward thing. You want specific things in the match to happen, like Trent to come off after 60 minutes, and then Liverpool to concede and then concede again so they draw the match. I don't know how I feel about the chip now that it's played out. I do think we're probably better off without it next season. How do you feel on that? Again, it still is early days, first week or second week of using it.
I'm not sure it'll be around next year. Like, I don't know. I really don't know. I think there's going to be a lot of managers that don't use the chip, and I think the Premier League will see that, and I think they'll go, chips need to be for everyone. And if you've got a game where only 50% of managers use the chip, and this is a complete guess where we're at in game week 38, but I reckon there'll be a lot of managers that use the chip, and a lot of managers that use the chip and don't use a transfer between managers because they don't realize you can do that. So even in the top 10K this week, it was something like 2.7% of managers. So what's that? 270 managers of 10,000, very good ones with good seasons, still had it on Moyes. They didn't make the transfer. Surely that's because they didn't understand the rule, and I just therefore question if the Premier League keep it. Personally, I've really enjoyed it, but this has to suit the masses, and I don't know if it's going to do that.
No, I agree. I actually really enjoy it myself. It's just like, if I could offer you a change to the chip, I'm sure you could throw loads at me. And again, I agree that it's not probably for the casuals, because I struggle to understand that, and I don't think I consider myself a casual. So yeah, no, I agree with you. Yeah, interesting that Moyes has actually outscored our manager so far. The casuals are actually beating us, so maybe we need to learn something from him.
Yeah, maybe. Mate, just looking back to the assistant manager chip, by the way, there is one fixture that maybe looks all right for the bonus. That is 5 fixtures that could achieve bonus. We've spoken about Leicester beating Brentford. Don't think it'll happen. Wolves beating Bournemouth. Unlikely, because Wolves are the away team. Ipswich beating Spurs again. Southampton surely aren't going to beat Brighton. But Palace versus Fulham is an interesting one. Because there's 5 places between them. With Palace losing to Everton, they've got to go to Fulham and win. That's probably the most attractive if you are going to chase the bonus. But again, most neutrals probably fancy Fulham at home. What do you reckon?
I actually don't mind that. Yeah, it's one of those games.
I don't mind glass and a punt.
If this game was in about 2 seasons ago, again, I know it changes, but on paper, I think you'd fancy Palace for sure. It's just this season that Fulham have looked so good, and we know how good Palace can be, especially when Eze's back in the mix and he's on form, which we haven't quite seen in a while. But yeah, it's definitely an attractive fixture. I didn't realise that there was 5 places between them.
Yeah, that Everton game last night, I mean, Everton beating Palace helped, but Everton weren't great and Palace were better. Mateta obviously scored and got the bonus, but Eze was benched, came on, I think, at half-time, and straight away they scored. Like, you need Eze in that team. Remind me what transfers you made last week, by the way. I'm just keen to picture your team, because you had Emery come in, didn't you?
Okay, on that note,
any other moves?
Let me pull up my Game Week 25 team. I've kept you long enough without seeing it. Give me 2 seconds. I hope everything.
I'm like the viewer here, mate. Even I don't see the behind the scenes stuff. This is great.
Okay, perfect. So in front of you, I've got my Game Week 25 team, and I'm currently on a sweet 58 points. Let me run through the team real quick. So on goal, I've got Pickford. 3 at the back: Trent, Gabriel, Munoz. 5 in the middle: Rogers, Salah, Trossard, Kluivert, Palmer. 2 up top in Watkins and Gakpo. So my moves this week were Leandro Trossard for Anthony Gordon, or the other way around, sorry. So Trossard in, and David Moyes to Emery. And to be honest, on paper, I'm really happy with the moves, just not with the outcome so far. So a 6-pointer from Trossard, which I am fairly disappointed with. I did think there was some really high upside for a player like Trossard in a fixture like this. 6 points though, in a game that they're struggling so late into the game for. Eaton Wanari, of course, coming up with some really good bonus at the end. But yeah, I don't mind the Trossard pick in general. I mean, the thought process was there of him playing up top until Marino came on later in the game, of course, picking up a brace. And Emery for the double fixture instead of David Moyes. I mean, I don't think there was a case where I was ever keeping Moyes, realistically, Gianni.
No, don't think so. Like, no, that's just, we're going to try and be active, and that's just not doing it. So, no, I hear you. Mate, your Trossard move was interesting, because I guess you thought he was going to play number 9, and he did. And then Moreno comes on as the number 9, and only for 13, 14 minutes and scores a brace. But Trossard, even when he's wide left, he's clearly a good buy at that price point. How do you feel about that? Because I have trust issues over the Arsenal attack knowing there's no Havertz, Jesus, Saka, Martinelli. That's just so short because loads are saying, oh, Ranieri's 4.5, like he's a cheat code. Like, I don't know how many goals Arsenal are going to score. Yes, Ranieri was great yesterday, but I feel like he'll be a transfer out in a few weeks.
You know, I agree with that, but that's the same type of situation I'm in. Of course, bringing in Trossard, I believe in him as an asset, but when you have the likes of Anwari for 4.5, kind of makes me question why I went Trossard over him when he was in the back of my mind somewhere. But again, I have to hold faith in Trossard. I do think he's a good move, long term, and even when the boys are back, maybe Saka, you like to hope Trossard keeps his place because Saka's of course on the right. So yeah. I don't mind the move. I'm happy with it. Let's just see how it plays out against West Ham next week. And overall, I do think in the long term, good move.
Yeah, okay. Every time I see your team and I go, oh, there's no Isak. It was fine, no Isak. Like City won 4-0. Moving forward, there are managers that are maybe moving Isak out. Like a few big names got rid of Isak and went Watkins. So I guess we should talk about Watkins first and then Isak. But what's your plan with Watkins? Like, have you looked ahead to game week 29 and gone, I've got 3 Liverpool without a fixture. I've got Munoz without a fixture. I've got double Aston Villa without a fixture. That's a lot of players to navigate that blank with. Are you thinking it could be a free hit week, or are you thinking you'll just field fewer than 11 players?
Yeah, so let's talk a bit on chip strategy. I've currently got 4 transfers between now and game week 29, I believe. One of them I'll be looking to make next week on Emery. And then that means I'm left with 3 transfers between game week 26 and 29. And 3 transfers is enough for me to field exactly 11 in game week 29. Doesn't mean a good 11 with Griggs potentially being one of them. But
João Pedro.
João Pedro with difficult fixtures. Yeah. But nonetheless, if I think for my own strategy, I've got triple captain left. I've already played my assistant manager like we spoke about. I've got my free hit. I've got my wildcard, of course. So my current plan is to actually not free hit in game week 29. See that out with whatever team I have. A lot of the fixtures in 29 with the team I'm going to have are really good in game week 30. In game week 31, looking to wildcard. Game week 32 with the double with Newcastle. So triple up on the Newcastle guys in game week 31. And maybe 1 or 2 Palace assets. In 32, use the triple captain on Isak. And then 33, bench boost. 34, free hit.
Yeah. We know 34 is going to be a blank. We know 36 will also be a double. And navigating 34 and 36 without a free hit is going to be really tricky. Because if you've got a good team for one week, you won't have a good team for the other. Which is why the free hit is so powerful next to a blank and a double. For me, I'm similar to you. I've got 2 Villa, 3 Liverpool, Munoz. I also have 2 Newcastle. So I've got 2 extra players not playing. So fielding an 11 is impossible for me unless I take a -8, which maybe would do. I am tempted to free hit in 29 because it maybe suits my team more, but I think your strategy is definitely the right one for the masses.
Yeah, you think my one would be a popular one for casuals, quote unquote?
I think so. Anyone that watches FPL YouTube, even if you're not massively engaged, but you watch the big channels or whatever, because that'll be on your chip strategy. Because every other content creator I know is on that chip strategy.
That's interesting because I thought a lot of managers have already used their triple captain in game week 4 on Haaland.
Sorry, they have, but I'm talking, I guess, about when you're wildcarding, when you're free.
Okay, no, that makes more sense.
But you're right. You're right. A lot have used there. In fact, most content creators I think have used triple captain.
Yeah, exactly.
50% probably have. Like a lot went early when I did on Haaland. A lot have gone Salah already. So yeah, no, it's fair. But you'll be using it in when 32 triple captain.
Yeah, on Isak.
On Isak, yeah, and then 33 will be a bench boost, which is when everyone else will do it, and everyone else will wildcard before that. So yeah, I'm not sure if I do use free hit in 29. I definitely won't be using a wild card because I'll be able to roll loads of transfers. So I'll be able to have 3 or 4 transfers in 30 or 31. So I'll be able to get quite close to what would be a wild card looking team. But I would have obviously spunked a free hit. So yeah, let us know in the chat what you're doing. I think the vast majority will. Yeah, Johan says, my strategy is wildcard 35, manage bench boost with free transfers. Yeah, it's possible. When's your free hit there, Johan? So yeah, there we go. Okay, nice. Mate, Watkins we spoke about. Isak, then you'll just wait till 32.
Absolutely. So it's actually interesting. Again, just to quickly touch off my rank, we
Hmm.
are currently 200k in the world, which is decent for where we are a few game weeks ago, 2 millionth. And I'm happy. Again, I think with the triple captain still to play, it gives me a lot of hope. I don't think the opportunities are as good as what we've seen with Salah. Of course, Isaac in 32 though, I do fancy him. And to be honest, I think anything more than maybe one return and an assist. So that would easily bump me up into the top 150k, I would say, after points after triple captain. So I think if I do play the last 12 weeks, 12, 11 weeks fairly well, 12 or 13 weeks, sorry, I could easily break into the top 50k. So the goal is still top 10k. I think with a wildcard and triple captain left to play, the sky is the limit. And I think I've managed my season so far, in my opinion, fairly well. So let's see what happens. It'd be interesting to see where we end the season, Gianni. I don't know what your goal is, but I think a top 10k is still possible in my eyes.
Mate, I don't have a goal. My goal is to.
That's always a good sign.
My goal is not to give up. It's been that dire. There's no point in me having a goal because I'll be unhappy with whatever I finish on now. I can't have even a respectable finish. My season's done. But for you, man, you've smashed it. Like, well played. Because yes, I know you've had better seasons, but the way you manage and some of the punts you've taken this year, to have that rank is awesome behaviour, I would say.
Yeah,
well
you know what it
played.
is, Johnny?
Like,
Two top 5k finishes and, of course, amazing season last season. But I enjoy the season regardless because I really do believe in the moves I'm making. And this year, of course, I have the privilege to show off to other managers that watch Fantasy Football Scout, and I really do appreciate everyone that's tuning in. I still enjoy it nonetheless, even when I'm doing bad. So I think the moves I made this week can put me in a better place going forward, and I'm confident of at least the top 100k finish, I would say, with the chips remaining.
yeah, mate, easy. I think 25 to 50k is very, very.
Exactly. Okay,
Like,
I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to be too cocky.
nah, you can be, man. Like this point last year, I was at your sort of rank. I'm pretty sure I ended on 46k, and I'm pretty sure I was around where you are now with chips in hand. Like you can definitely get down to top 50.
Yeah, no, I
You'll
agree.
be good, man.
I agree. Okay,
Just let me ask on Man City, because a few in the chat have said about Marmoush and obviously Haaland plan. Are you thinking for that 29 you'll offload a Salah to get a Haaland, or do you think you would settle on a Marmoush? Like, where are you at with City assets and with 29 in mind, knowing you'll be selling assets, maybe like a Salah or a Palmer or whatever?
you know what really annoys me when a player like Mamouche goes and scores a hat-trick out of nowhere. I'm like, why didn't I think of that? Again, obviously, all of us do
He's
it.
someone you would punt on.
Exactly.
And now it's annoying.
That's why it's annoying, because
you're not the person.
that is
everyone will,
such a choi pick. Like, Johnny, you know
Yeah.
me as a manager. Like, you know me better than anyone. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
why I'm asking you about him. I know when you said, I knew exactly what you're referring to.
When he goes and does
annoying.
something like that, now it seems like too late to kind of maybe
Mate,
put people onto him.
he's simply now not a you pick as much.
Because of that. But going back to your question, what am I doing
Too
going
mainstream,
forward?
mate. It's too mainstream.
Exactly.
Now.
Southampton and Leicester for Palmer, I can't knock him for it. And in game week 29, the plan is, with the 3 free transfers I was talking about, move on Palmer to maybe Utara Dango, who did score a goal this weekend, and move on Ollie Watkins to potentially Erling Haaland or Marmoush, who, I mean, I think he is appealing. The only thing is the fixtures are really difficult, of course, coming up. But you want players. You want to start transferring in players who you know are going to play in game week 29, unless you're on the thought process of free hitting, of course, and you're certain of it.
That's the other problem with 29, though. Like, yes, you can get 11 players out with those 3 transfers, but not if you're selling Palmer, who's one of the players that have actually got a fixture. So it's tough. We're going to see people having to sell if they want to get to a Haaland. Huh?
A tough fixture in 29.
A tough fixture, but it doesn't leave you with 11 men without hits.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Like, I'd rather sell Palmer than a Salah, because the money tied up in Salah will be a lot to a lot of people, and you'll be buying him back on wildcard, and that might make a difference to having an extra $500,000 to spend on wildcard by selling Salah or not. So it's going to be really interesting. I am going to look at the free hit in 29, but
I
for
was
me,
just
it
about to
comes
say.
down to where's the upside with the free hit? How well are Man City playing? Do we trust Man United to beat Leicester? You know, because that is one of the fixtures you could go after, but it's Man United.
How does how much do you value the team you're going to have in game week 28, and if you free it in 29 over dead end, almost dead end into 29, and then having a decent team for 30 and free and wildcard in 31?
I think my 28 team looks good either side of the blank. Like there's look at Newcastle and Liverpool. Like I quite want those players either side of the blank. I don't really want to sell them.
Yeah, no, that's valid.
Like I probably will because I do think the chip strategy that you've mentioned is the better one, but it depends. It's team dependent. Like I look at Newcastle in 28 they've got West Ham, in 30 they've got Brentford, 31 they've got Leicester, and then obviously it's a double game week. So holding Newcastle makes sense. Liverpool either side of the blank. Like, do I expect Liverpool to beat Southampton or in 28? Yes, and then in 30 it's Merseyside derby, but this time at Anfield. Like again, I'd love triple Liverpool still in those 2 weeks. Well, if I'm not free hitting, I'm not going to have triple Liverpool. I'm going to be selling some Liverpool players, which I don't really want to do.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's tricky. It is tricky
It's
for
well
me.
tricky.
Yeah,
What's good though, it's we don't have to make a decision because we can roll transfers at the moment now with the new rule in place. We can roll them in 26, 7 or 27, 28. And come 29, we can then make the call. You know, there might be more information by then. And then we go, I can use these 3 free transfers to make 3 moves and fill 10 players, or I can hit the free hit button. And if I do hit it, I'll still have those 3 transfers next week. In fact, I'll have 4, you know?
Do you think this is interesting? I actually never questioned this. Do you think the 5 free transfers is permanent in the game?
I think so.
Yeah, I would say so.
I like it. I think it's a really good way of keeping the casuals engaged because there's casuals that will go on holiday, that will have stuff come up in life, that will forget about FPL for a few weeks. When they come back to their team and they see 3, 4 transfers, they probably don't give up. They probably go, oh, I can have a new shiny team. Let's give it a go. Before, managers would go, my season's done. I've missed it for a month. See you later. So I think it's a great way of engaging them.
Yeah, I completely agree. And to me, I think planning has been a bit more interesting. Like, the type of manager I am, Gianni, last season I would have made, there would have been 1 or 2 weeks where I didn't make a transfer. This season I've been way more lax and leaving my team and holding faith in some players. Again, I don't know for me if that's a good thing, because obviously it's not quite worked out as it usually would, with me bringing in players on a weekly basis and them striking gold straight away, and that is pure luck.
I'm surprised by you though, mate, because the way you manage in general makes me think you would be a manager that doesn't actually ever roll 2, 3 transfers. Rarely. But you've managed to do it, which is brilliant because I think it's worked for you. But I class you in a similar category to me, where we struggle not making a move each week because we go and chase gold.
Yeah, no, I would agree, and that's why like this season
So you've been disciplined.
Yeah, I've been so disciplined. It's so weird. And but instead, what I've been doing is I've been using 2 or 3 transfers on players that I do think will return, and it's just not worked out for me thus far. And that's why it is interesting, because when things start not going your way, you kind of start looking at things a bit differently. And again, I was so fortunate last season. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm not blinded by it, but it is interesting when you're having a bit of a poorer season. Anyway, on that note, Gianni, let's pull up my game week 26 team. Have a look at how we're fixed in terms of fixture-wise for our players. For me, not in a bad spot for sure. I think one of the only question marks is potentially Gakpo or Rodgers, depending on if he plays against Villa. What do you make of the team? I'll read it out for anyone that is listening. So on goal, we've got Pickford, 3 at the back, Trent, Gabriel, Munoz, 4 in the middle, Salah, Trossard, Cliver and Palmer, and 3 up top in Watkins, Pedro and Gakpo. On the bench, we've got Rodgers, Mikalenko and Greaves, and currently assistant manager is Emery. Right now, my thoughts are moving on Emery, and we've only got 1 move.
Yeah, you're gonna move the manager. Everyone will. I think slot managers will move the manager because it's Man City away. I think they'll go probably Arteta at home. But yeah, we'll move the manager. I mean, your team looks good, and the fixtures are fine. I'd be shocked if João Pedro starts because I think Brighton played so well against Chelsea twice. They've just beat him in the cup and the league, and in both those games, João Pedro was benched, and the attacking lineup was the same, with Jorginho Rutter playing in the João Pedro sort of number 10
Johnny,
role.
can I leave you go on there? I just need to go toilet.
Yeah, go for it.
2 seconds. Carry on.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, let us know in the chat what you think Chai should do, but I'm thinking João Pedro could be sold or benched. When I look at that sub bench and I see Rodgers first sub, he's always a guy that can sting you. His returns are a bit unpredictable, but like I said, from that XG plot on the scout members area, guys, like the biggest underperformer of the game week so far was Rodgers. See how he plays against Liverpool, but I wouldn't feel comfortable benching Rodgers. And to be fair, Chai can just bench João Pedro, can't he? So he could go João Pedro bench, Rodgers in 11, make a move on Emery. I don't know how much money he's got in the bank, so let's ask him, because it could affect what manager he goes to. Other than that, I think he's good. I think captaincy next week's a proper debate. Let's see how they get on against Real Madrid, shall we? Let's see how City get on. I'm not so sure I'm going to go Salah. I might take a punt on Isak.
No, Johnny, I was just listening to you there, and I really think Postecoglou is where I want to go with this managership.
Is it? Yeah. Go on, boy.
Yeah, no, I think there is some upside to chasing this Ipswich fixture for me. Big result versus United. They'd be absolutely buzzing with that. A few players coming back from injury. I mean, I do fancy it. Maybe it's my boys kicking in again, like we always say, and I need you to shut me back down. But for me, I do feel like that is the move from Emery.
Yeah, it's fair, man. I don't mind that. And again, I guess similar price points, so you're good. What do you reckon on João Pedro? And then let's talk captaincy, because it's a big debate. Like, I would start Rodgers over João Pedro, just because I think Rodgers will start and João Pedro is going to get a 20-minute cameo.
I don't know how to feel about João Pedro, if I'm being honest. I really don't know. Like, I just wouldn't be surprised if he started the next game, especially with Southampton. And you're right what you said about them playing so well against Chelsea. Rodgers, though, the reason I feel so comfortable starting Pedro is because how disappointed I've been with Rodgers. Does that make sense? He's done it in Champions League, of course, like we've seen. Makes it a bit easier for me when, Rodgers has been so poor in recent weeks.
Yeah, I hear that. But Rodgers on his day, I mean, even yesterday, he should be on a double-digit haul. Like, he's got his XGI is around 1. We've been unlucky, but yeah, it is what it is. I mean, Chelsea are bad, man. He's gonna have chances versus Chelsea. Chelsea are bad, but I hear ya. I mean, the biggest discussion for me of the week isn't even who you're buying. It's the assistant manager conversation, because so many have hit that chip and they're looking to move from Emery or even Slot. I don't think Slot owners will stay on Slot, and I don't think they should. I think Man City, you just don't know. Let's see how they look against Real Madrid, but they look clearly very good against Newcastle. But it's who to captain. I'm not sure it's a gimme I give it to Salah, especially if you're chasing like me. I'm pretty set. Well, I'm not pretty set. At the moment, my armband is on Isak.
Johnny, I've no one really else to give it to other than Salah and maybe a Trossard, and that says a lot about my team, Johnny, doesn't it?
To be fair, the fact that it's slim pickings for captaincy, it does say a lot, and it does say a lot about my team that I've only got Isak as an option, who has a really tough fixture in Forest. It's just I fancy Isak at home, because no one's going Palmer the way Chelsea are playing. No one's going Watkins, I don't think. Could you go Watkins? I don't know. I mean, if I was you, I would consider Watkins and Kluivert. But yeah, I mean, I'd probably go Salah if I was you.
That's interesting. For me, it's between Salah and Trossard.
Oh, mate.
Yeah.
I can't back that Arsenal team. I don't know. There's something about the Arsenal team. Remember,
it's
80
West Ham,
minutes
though.
in. Yeah, but at 80 minutes in, that Arsenal team, the same 11 pretty much, that will play West Ham, were 0-0 with Leicester.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was only the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, no, I don't know how to feel about it. You're right, though. But City away, Johnny, how do you feel on City? Because we shit on City for so many weeks now.
I know.
Is our opinion changed after a result?
I don't know. It's too hard to know. It's such a small sample size to see them have one good game and say they've turned the corner. Because they have had the odd good game in the last couple of months. I don't know. I think the fact it's at the Etihad, I think it's a really tough game for Liverpool. I don't think I'd feel comfortable with Salah captain. There's something there that just goes, this is a week you can bet against him.
No, I completely agree, and I wish I just had a better asset than Trossard, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'll be going Isak. I genuinely do. When I looked at the, on my Sundays, I obviously look at the shot maps and stuff like that for my Sunday debrief show on my channel. This morning, I was shocked by the amount of efforts Fulham had on the Forest goal. Fulham versus Forest yesterday was so one-sided. It was something like 25 shots to 5. Like it was mental. If Newcastle can do the same to Forest than Fulham did, and remember, they're the home team, could be problems.
No, I completely agree. How do you feel on some of the Forest assets, though, Johnny? Do you still back them for top 4?
Mate, Chris Wood.
He's unbelievable. He's unbelievable.
He has scored with over 40% of his shots this season.
They don't make
pretty much every other shot he takes goes in. That's wild.
That's insane. I'm fairly sure. Sorry, I'm dying. His XG, like he's outperformed astronomically this season, and he's just a different animal. And every single week, he's hurting my game week rank. So it is so annoying, but I don't think they're like. It makes sense for me to go against Chris Wood, to be honest.
Have you owned him yet this
no,
season? I've not.
No, and I love a Chris Wood. It's just the fixtures weren't there for me 2 weeks ago, so I said there's no point. And now I'm too late to the party, so I'm just gonna stand on it. Like,
yeah, I think I'm the same. Like we've committed, and every time we go to say why don't we just buy him, we look at the fixtures and go, nah, it's tough. And it's like, oh, we can't keep saying that. And he does just overperform his XG. It's mental. Like he has well and truly hurt us both this season. Like not owning Chris Wood feels naive.
3 players that have absolutely killed me: Chris Wood, Brian Mbuemo, and Isaac. And when you account for how well they've done this season, I mean, I'm not doing too bad realistically, am I?
Mate, have you not owned Mbuemo at all?
I think I've owned him at the start of the season, but when
but
it
you've missed
really
the vast majority of his points.
Yeah.
3 that have hurt me this season: not owning Chris Wood, being really late to Mo Salah and keep captaining Erling Haaland.
Oh
That's
yeah, that
really
too. Yeah, to be fair.
That was the one thing that really cost me. And then I'm gonna say I've got a few. I'm not gonna say selling Foden because I know I know anyway.
Well, let's just move on from that.
The other thing that really cost me was what's really cost? Okay. Backing against Salah with the armband. I did things like went Bruno captain and he blanked at home. So the armband. My captaincy's been dreadful because I've backed against, and I'm telling you here, I'm going to back against Salah again. I'm not learning, am I?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's almost impossible to back against Salah. You won't be surprised if he does the magic he always does against City. But yeah, my mistakes of this season the biggest one for sure is bringing in Erling Haaland in around game week 6 on wildcard instead of Salah. Rookie mistake. And to be honest, it goes against exactly who I am as a manager in not listening to people and being stubborn. But I just gave in because how well Haaland was doing for sure. But yeah, there's still plenty of weeks for us, Gianni, to catch up. We'll see what happens going forward. And I mean, it's still been a fun season, don't get me wrong. Big win for Spurs today, Gianni. Is there anything left you want to say before we end the stream? And again, another amazing Sunday stream. And do us a favour, hit that like button for us.
I really appreciate you giving up the time during your birthday. And massive shout out to your companion that you're there with for being so chill about you taking up an hour of your Sunday evening on your birthday to speak with me. So, mate, I feel blessed that you've given up the time and look forward to our chat next week.
Absolutely. So do us a favor, hit that like button if you did enjoy the stream. And as usual, everyone, we will see you in the next.